and reliability in international markets.
Welcome back. The U.S. Israeli strikes and attacks war on Iran, of course, has impacts on the global economy and economy in the Middle East, and especially also on Egypt. We are going to shed more light on this, and we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, economic expert. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, madam.
Dr. Ghoneim, actually, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi have said that, of course, the whole Arab world is affected, and there's international effect or impact of the war in the region on the Egypt and the Arab world.
Well, actually, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he has spoken that Egypt has tried or had tried before the war erupted to mitigate the problem and to mediate in order to reach a peaceful solution for the problem, and to entice all parties to get back to the negotiation table. Because Egypt always believes that war will never solve any problem, and that war has bad political and economic effects, of course, severely bad political and economic effects indeed. Not only on the region but on the whole world. As you can see now, the economic impact of the war. This region, the Hormuz Strait and the Middle East, it controls more than 25% of the energy supplies in the world, whether we're talking about petroleum or natural gas. And that's why since the war erupted on Feb 28, 2026, the oil prices have been hiking. Actually, Brent crude oil, which is the benchmark oil price in the world, it increased from around $60 per barrel at the beginning of 2026 to around $73 per barrel on February 28 on the eve of the war. And then today it reached $100. Actually, it crossed the $100 barrier. It did so 2 times. It did cross the $100 line 2 times. And during the last 2 days, we've seen some reduction in oil prices affected by the announcement of the World Energy Agency that many of the big countries would liquidate some of their oil reserves around 800 million barrels. But then we have to understand that, I'm sorry, 400 million barrels, not 800. We have to understand that the Gulf countries, they produce around 20 million barrels per day. So if we're talking about 400 million barrels, then this only covers 3 weeks production of the Arabian Gulf countries. And that's why we've seen today that the oil prices again increased and crossed the $100 per barrel price. Now, the problem here is that, again, like the Russian-Ukrainian war, this might spur a wave of global inflation. We have seen that inflation increased in both the U.S. and the EU based on and in the whole world, actually.
Yes, of course.
Due to the severance of the oil supplies from Russia after the Russia-Ukraine war. And then this wave of global inflation enticed central banks to increase interest rates.
Yes.
Actually, at that time, the interest in the U.S. Targeted from 5.25 to 5.5%, which is the highest level, or which was the highest level since more than 22 years. That's why there are many expectations that central banks now will either hold interest rates or will even increase the interest rates because of the expected inflationary effects of the war.
Yes.
Of course, this will lead to increasing the cost of borrowing, cost of investment, and hence cost of production, as well as the other bad effects regarding the severance of the trade routes and supply chains. So there are a lot of fears that the world might suffer a wave of stagflation, I might say.
Yes, Dr. Ghoneim, concerning the measures taken by the Egyptian state in order to overcome or face this challenge, of course, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli have announced in a press conference held, and he was also, the meeting was attended by the Minister of Petroleum and Minister of Finance, that the Egyptian state is taking a bunch of social and financial measures in order to overcome this challenge. How did you follow this?
Well, presently there is a joint responsibility between the government and the people in order to mitigate the situation and cross this difficult situation. The Egyptian government had announced a package of social protection before the holy month of Ramadan, and that package costed around 40 billion Egyptian pounds. And at that time, the economic commentators and analysts, they commented that such package was within the defined or the limited means of the Egyptian state budget, because Egypt now is committed herself to a form of financial discipline. Trying to limit the budget deficit to around 7% per annum and trying to maintain the primary surplus that it was able to generate. Egypt generated 3.6% of GDP as primary surplus in 2025 and is targeting around 4% in 2026. Therefore, the social protection and social welfare efforts undertaken by the state have to abide by such measures, by such determinants. On the other hand, the government, of course, is trying to curb inflation, is trying to maintain the discipline of the markets and to prevent any price manipulation. And in this regard, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he spoke strongly that we all have to monitor the prices, and we all have to use all the legal means in order to prevent the manipulators from trying to exploit the present situation and increase the prices. On the other hand, the primary responsibility, I would say, lie on the individuals, on the people themselves, because the whole world now cannot expect when this struggle will end.
Yes.
And the economic impact of the war depends so much on the time frame of the war, on the length it would take, on the length that the hostilities will remain.
Yes.
Therefore, such inflation depend, or the inflationary effects depend on the time frame of the war, and especially that until now Egypt still imports a large sum of its necessities. So if there will be a global inflation, then definitely you will import it. And that's why, as I said, it's a joint responsibility between all the parties.
Yes, actually, Dr. Ghoneim, but you've just mentioned that it depends on how the war is going when the war is going to end, but if it ends tomorrow, the impact is going to continue for a while, of course. We all know this, of course. Dr. Ghoneim, actually Egypt have received, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in the past years, 10 million refugees, or we say visitors, as the President have described them. And Egypt was able to receive the refugees from Palestine, from Sudan, from Libya, from Syria, from several, from Somalia, from several countries, and we're expecting more from the Arab countries to come into Egypt. How does this show the resilience of the Egyptian economy and the secured and safe and stability of the Egyptian state?
Well, actually, Egypt is now considered to be the safe haven of the Middle East. It's considered to be the anchor of stability and safety and the place where all the parties they come seeking for refuge. Actually, Egypt has always been a blessed land. It has always been a land of refuge for the needing and for the people who are in trouble in the whole region. Regarding the refugee problem, yes, of course, as President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi mentioned, Egypt now hosts around 10 million refugees. And this is the tax we are paying for being as I said, the anchor of stability and of security in the Middle East. But regarding the present war, I don't think that the present war will lead to a flow of refugees, because most of the Gulf states are rich countries and they are stable and they are able to defend themselves and they're able to secure themselves against the present hostility. So I don't think that we will be receiving more refugees from the Arab countries. But of course, the global inflation, the expected global inflation, as well as the economic hardships that are associated with the war, like, for example, the expected decline in tourism, the expected decline in the Suez Canal revenues. Of course, such problems will compound the already existing problems in the Egyptian economy.
Yes.
But I believe that with the present financial discipline that we are committed to, as well as based on the economic reforms that Egypt was able to undertake since 2014, I believe that we can cross this, we can pass this hard situation. But of course, as I said, this demands a lot of awareness and a lot of commitment, a lot of responsibility, especially
Yes.
from the Egyptian people and from the civil society, as well as a strong law enforcement from the state.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Ayman Ghoneim, economic expert. Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, Cairo Local Time. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.